Hey YouTube, long time no see. We're back in my semi-new shop, which is still quite discombobulated even after a year. But today's project is this. This is a big foam swim mat. And you can see this is a pretty good size one. It's about 6 feet tall and it rolls out to at least 16 feet. My wife bought this. They're several $100, not cheap, and I thought it was really stupid. But the little kids, love it, absolutely love it. So we've had it for many years, and a big kid jumped off the dock onto his knees onto the mat and created a problem. They're really not a trampoline like some of those other toys. So what we have is about a 2-foot tear here that we're going to try to fix today. I've experimented a bit and hopefully we can get at it. So let's show you what we're doing. All right, there's the mat. Here's our tear. It's a couple of feet. First thing I did was drill a hole where the crack is. It's not straight through, so it's a little bit off, but on the other side it looks better. So it stops the extension of the crack. The next thing I did was just heat the end of this up. Just kind of melt those edges. Obviously it took a little longer than that, but that's what I did for that. Next, we got to clean it. So first I just kind of generally blew the crud off of it with a blower. Then we took a compressor. This kind of works better. I thought maybe like this, but it's more of a 45. Kind of cleans that up. Make sure you wear glasses when you do that. There's a lot of little sand particles and stuff in there. So we blew that off, vacuumed it up, and now I'm going to scrub it. I just used a little soap and water and a little plastic scrubby brush. I'll scrub this up and rinse it, and then we'll let it dry. See if we can get as much crud off of there as we can, because we're going to put some adhesive on here later. I've cleaned the area off as best I could. I did both sides. So here's the rip. This is like, I don't know, 1.5 inch foam. You can see it's 3 different layers stuck together. But the rip is through and through the whole thing. So I looked into it, see what we could do to fix it. There was several ways that people said online. Tape, which I don't think is going to do it, but I ordered some to kind of cover the repair that we're going to do. I looked at about 100 different ways to put this plastic together. They suggested rubber cement. It works, but it's not real strong. This doesn't work at all. There's no bonding to it. I suppose maybe you could spray over any repair you did, but I think it would just flake off. This did a little bit. It wasn't super strong. I think it was a little stronger than the rubber cement, but it's hard. This is a non-expanding foam, as opposed to the big foam that really expands. This stuff is just practice stuff, packing. So that's made out of, from what I could tell, polyethylene, as is this foam polyethylene. So certain glues will just melt it. So that doesn't work very well. But melting, they say you can melt it and it will stick. Problem is that crack, it's going to be hard to apply the heat to, but you can see how melting it, sticking it on there works pretty good. So I think the heat gun is going to be the ticket. The third thing I'm going to do is sew it with some braided fishing line. So I'm going to try to bond it together as best I can. Then I'll sew it, and then I'm going to put some tape over it, some tape that's meant for repairing floaties and things like that. Also, hey there, that's better. I made some plugs for the holes. Plan on putting that in the hole that we made and just putting tape over it. I don't know if you have to, but fill it in a little. All right, heat did not work. Two problems I had. One was getting the heat gun into that deep crack, and also it was real hard to keep it approximated after we heated it up. So it didn't stick, and it was melting the top. It just wasn't working good. So I tried a couple more things. I tried a bigger gap. This didn't do too bad to kind of, it's really not a adhesive, but it kind of filled that gap up and I didn't have to press it together so much because it's really tough with the sides of that mat. This is actually an adhesive that's made for polyethylene. I think mostly they're talking about the plastic, hard plastic sheets, the high density, low density, but I tested it out on this and I think it works better than this. So what I'm going to do is spray it in the crack and then sew it with some braided fishing line. And so that will help us approximate it once we got the sticky stuff on. And hopefully, and then I'll just leave that in, and I'll put the tape over that. And hopefully by doing the adhesive, the sewing, and the tape, we can hold it together enough that it'll work for the little kids. So I've taped it off, kind of draped it off so I don't get too much sticky on it. But the thing about this stuff is you can let it dry to a little tack before you stick it together, so it won't matter if we put it on and then work our way to getting it sealed up. So let's see how it goes. Okay, it is sticky, that's for sure. And I'll go underneath and do the underside. And I'll sandwich it together and start sewing. All right, there is the finished product. Oh, sorry about Lucy in the background. I forgot to turn off the music, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna leave the suture in when I put the tape on or not, but it brought it together nice. The glue's on there nice. I put the little plugs in. This is the needle I used. It was long enough to get through. I bought it at Hobby Lobby, $1.50 or something. I'm gonna leave this for several days so it sets real well, and then I'll make my decision about whether I leave or take those out. Terade, this is the tape type A for the polyethylene. The type B is vinyl. So that was what was recommended. This is a 5-foot roll, and it doesn't seem real thick, but hopefully if I put it front and back, that will work. So I'm going to prep the pad now that it's all clean with alcohol. Let it dry. We'll apply this and I'll let you see that. All right, they give you these two dinky little alcohol pads for prepping that, which is obviously not going to work. So we're going to use some heat, which is isopropyl. So isopropyl is just rubbing alcohol. If you got that, that works too. I'm not going to put this right on the glue because I'm not sure if it'll do anything to that, but I'm going to go along the edges here, clean it up. I don't know if that's cleaning or just getting any water off and evaporating and drying it out, so, but that's what they recommend. Okay, so this will go 1 inch past. Kind of
direction. That's about an inch.
All right, project complete. I think the big thing was this 3M, oh, that's backwards, Super 77 adhesive, and sewing it together with the 50-pound braided fishing line, a long needle from Hobby Lobby. Put the tape over it. I don't know if I should have taken the suture out or not. It might pull through. I think if just little kids are on it, it'll probably be fine. I'll test it out this summer and I'll do another video on the results. Thanks.